Spring has finally sprung, and in the movie-loving corners of the internet, that means it's time to baselessly speculate on movies we haven't seen, and in some cases, won't see until this time next year. There was a time when poring over the intentionally sparse details of teaser trailers was the exclusive province of only the foulest, most cringing abominations in all of fandom. But that time is not today. Now, even people whose intelligence I formerly respected are jumping on this train like bad guys in an old western. From the outside, it looks like we critics have assimilated all of the worst traits of our younger siblings in video game country. We could have stolen their verve, or their vigor, or their vibrancy, or any number of other positive traits that start with V, but that sounds hard. Much better to do unpaid PR work for the ever-shrinking number of greedy, shiftless bastards who own and control 99.9% of everything that goes through our eyeballs and ear holes. And I can't help but baselessly speculate about why. Obviously, you can speculate about trailers on YouTube pretty much all you like, without your account spontaneously combusting. Try to do that with an actual film that's been actually released and actually seen by actual people, and your channel will catch fire faster than an evil government agent in the presence of Charlie McGee. To be on YouTube is to have oftentimes years of work live and die at the mercy of some algorithm somewhere, deciding you're just as bad as the asshole trying to upload 2.5 hours of a publicity still titled Avengers 2 2015 Full Movie HD DVD RIP OMG. And God help you if you try to talk about anything Paramount or the WB have bought up in the last 20 years and might, I don't know, want to use a little clip to illustrate what you're talking about? Fuck you. Go read a blog, Grandpa. This is Web 3.0. You will carry water for your corporate masters or you will die alone, you rebel scum. Speaking of which, new Star Wars trailer. Yay. It's 1999 again, and no one seems to have learned a goddamn thing. Thanks for confirming that, Disney. I was starting to get optimistic there for a second. At least we've got faster internet now, here in the future. No one had to artificially inflate the box office of an Adam Sandler movie to go see the damn trailer this time. Suck it, 1999. You were a big enough bummer the first time around. Now, Space 1999. There was some good shit. Anybody else remember that show? Or was I the only one watching the Sci-Fi Channel before it became the Sci-Fi Channel? Pop quiz, hotshot. You're a movie studio with 16% market share. Why release a trailer for a movie that doesn't come out until November in the middle of April? So it can play in front of all this summer's big movies. Correct. This is how you run a hype train, and the Star Wars hype train always runs on time. Emperor Palpatine would countenance no less. That's why a new Star Wars video game is coming out the same time as the movie, and why its trailer dropped the same weekend. We can only hope and pray that its servers will be properly stress-tested before they kick it out the door ahead of Christmas. Given it's developed by DICE and published by EA, that's more of an open question than it really should be. As to Episode 7, I'm sorry. I've been burned 3 times before. Shame on me, right? But I don't want to walk out at the end of Episode 9, X years from now, and think, Jesus Christ, at least that's finally over. That's the thought I had coming out of Episode 3. And it's the thought I'm already having about Episode 7. I don't even want to watch the next Star Wars movie, I want to survive it. And the same goes for every other movie on this list. Terminator Genisys, then.
Genesis? Yes, Genesis. How can you be deaf with ears like that?
A half-decade train wreck of auctioned-off rights and perpetual rumors of cool things birthed this project after the franchise's old owners were forced into bankruptcy by a hedge fund. No, really. On top of tanking the world financial system with their gambling addictions, hedge fund managers stopped us from seeing another Terminator film. Add that to their incredibly large list of unpunished crimes. Joss Whedon apparently put up $10,000 for the franchise at one point, which seems like a fundamental injustice to me. Avengers made Disney $1 billion. Its director really should have had more spare change to throw around. Much Ado About Nothing couldn't have cost that much. In any case, the company that made Zero Dark 30 and American Hustle owns Terminator now. But Paramount's still distributing, so there goes any chance we have of putting a review on YouTube. And the guy who wrote Dracula 2000 has script duties, so honestly, I'm feeling the fear. We could have gotten an animated Terminator film. Shut up, it would have been awesome and you know it. We could have gotten a Terminator film by Aang, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Hulk Lee. but he apparently couldn't cut a deal with the new owners. So instead we get Daenerys Targaryen of the blood of old Valyria. May she take what is hers. But remember what I said about Star Wars? Yeah. Been burned twice by the Terminator franchise. If you're lucky, I'll do a retrospective review series on all 5 of these fucking things over the summer. Spoiler alert, you're very lucky. Punks. And then there's this Batman-Superman trailer. Which, in all honesty, gave me flashes of what William S. Burroughs once described as
serene, timeless joy. A joy as old as suffering and despair.
Your suffering and despair, as a matter of fact, viewing this very same trailer. Some of my colleagues got 3 whole articles out of how painful the experience supposedly was, and I expect they'll get quite a few more as time goes on, and they keep obsessively watching it over and over again. My entire peer group seems to have decided that movie was worser than Hitler, and Zack Snyder is the new Michael Bay. As if the old one's gone anywhere. As if we're not getting not just more Transformers movies, but an entire expanded Transformers universe, with multiple storylines continuing through multiple sequels, interdependently and indefinitely forever, amen. But I don't make the rules. Not even Disney makes the rules. They're like a dog chasing cars. They don't even know what to do with one when they catch it. They just do things, and everyone rushes to copy them. Fact is, nothing's changed at the WB since the Harry Potter days. The company still runs itself like a social Darwinist nightmare. Ayn Rand's dream made flesh. With every department competing against each other for the attention of the higher-ups. Shit, fire, and save matches. They've got 5 writers working on 5 different scripts for the Wonder Woman movie they should have made a decade ago. That's probably why their first choice for a director jumped ship, and why none of their second choices have answered the phone so far. They know the suits up top want to fast-track everything, and who wants to drive themselves mad working under such conditions? Best case scenario, you wind up like Zack Snyder. That's the real problem. While all of you were clutching your pearls at the sight of, gasp, gratuitous property damage in a shock horror superhero film, the companies who make them lost what little patience they once had. Remember how Captain America 2 ended on a cliffhanger, with Cap and Sam Wilson hunting up Cap's long-lost brainwashed cybernetic sidekick? Yeah, forget all that. Winter Soldier only made $700 million in theater, and these days if your movie makes less than $1 billion, you're more or less a loser. In the old grade school sports sense of second place just means first loser, which is why I'm really scared for Ant-Man and everyone involved with it. Marvel Studios' Uber producer Kevin Feige has gone on record saying he's sick of doing origin stories, and this'll be his last one for a while. Because I wonder how much of that sickness is due to the fact this origin story's taken him 9 years to get up on its feet. Seriously. Let's talk about Kevin has been working on this fucker since before Iron Man. Which makes me think Hank Pym really was meant to create movie Ultron at some point in the not-too-distant past. Has Feige spent the last near decade with a missing piece in the gigantic human puzzle he's creating? If so, props to him for this being the first time I noticed. So does he now get down on his knees every night and thank Dave Michelin and John Byrne for creating Scott Lang? He should. The public doesn't want to know what Hank Pym is capable of. Oh, wait. He's in this? He's Michael Douglas? Holy shit! An actor in his 70s in a Marvel movie? Gee, I wonder what the odds are that it'll turn out to be evil. And what are the odds director Peyton Reed has staked his entire career on Ant-Man doing well? The sorry tale of Edgar Wright's replacement shows us that in spite of all Marvel's good PR, they're really no different from their distinguished competition. No matter how creative you may or may not be, no matter how rabid of a fan base you have, you can either follow your marching orders from on high, or you can follow Jon Favreau back into the phantom zone of TV pilots, Jungle Book remakes, cameos in films you should have been directing, and indie movies about chefs. But then again, it's got Marvel's name on it. People have only seen 2 minutes of it, and they already love it like a first child. Well, that was unfulfilling and pointless. I still can't fathom why people do this with every upcoming trailer for every half-serious-looking sci-fi film. as long as it comes from one of the big six. Forced to fall back on psychological explanations, I can only surmise that speculating about upcoming movies gives you a hit watching already released movies just can't give you any more. And I don't mean YouTube hits, I mean hits of dopamine in your brain. That serene, timeless joy I mentioned? Yep. Only problem is, after a while, that shit can get addictive. And as I look across the online critical community, I see a nation of addicts desperate for a fix. We've got to do more, people. We've got to be better than this. We've got to square this circle, push the camel through the needle's eye, and try to reclaim something of substance from this crazy, facile, venal world we've all helped create. And I can't see any way of doing that if we're all gonna turn into Clio Award judges and start critiquing commercials. So what about the Supergirl trailer that debuted while you were making this? Oh, for fuck's sake.